For those people advocating tough on crime, there's an implicit assumption they have that it works. But when you actually look at the data and the evidence, what you often find is that these approaches are superficially tough, and they're certainly tough on people and on communities, but they actually don't do a whole lot to lower crime rates.
The menace of crime.
The war on drugs is a failure and a success in that it's not stopped drug use in this country, but it's the best economic boom that we have ever seen.
Individual wrongdoing is seen as the result of poor socio-economic conditions or an underprivileged background. And the American people utterly rejects this point of view.
So I don't want to ask what made them do this. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. We must take back the streets. More cops, more prisons. They will become the predators 15 years from now.
We need to take these people on. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
The message today is clear. We mean to put you away for a very long time.
But with every defendant, there is a whole story. There's a life that's been lived. It's often a complicated life. Mandatory minimums make all of that irrelevant.
We have just begun the job, and we do not intend to stop until we have finished.
The super predator idea was wrong. The predictions were off by a factor of 4. It had doubled and it was supposed to double again, and instead it was halved.
I did sound an alarm.
When you describe another group as godless, you can do anything to them.
In a few moments, I'll be signing the USA Patriot Improvement and Reauthorization Act.
The United States is home to 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. Much of our criminal justice system remains unfair. More of our eyes have been opened to this truth, and we can't close them anymore.
I will never put the needs of illegal criminals before I put the needs of law-abiding citizens. It's very simple to me.
As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers. I am your president of law and order.
We would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist.
You give me my paperwork and they tell me I can go. I don't know where to go. I was headed back down that road to destruction.
And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point.
My mom has a patio like this, but I would be afraid to go out there. Like, I would be like, am I allowed to go out that door?
And we must deal with that.
Many of the tough approaches end up increasing the risk of crime.
What kind of people are we if we continue to tolerate in our midst an invisible, lawless empire?